sensational looks on B-Towns. Favorites such as Aishwarya Rai, Deepika Padukone, Bipasha Basu, Malaika Arora, Priyanka Chopra, and so many more. Her team has also been servicing thousands of clients every year from around the globe. So please help me welcome Vidya Tikari, guys. She is with us on the platform today to facilitate this special honor for all of you. Is everybody excited? Yes, no, maybe? Awesome, awesome. Great. Vidya, over to you. I think the crowd is going crazy.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be back. It's been a long time. Can you see me?
Yes, Vidya, look at the love for you in the chat box. The stage is all yours.
It's lovely to be back. I haven't been on Airblack for quite a while, but I think it's been about a year or so, or maybe more. But I love being on this platform because I feel I'm used to a classroom of 15, 20 students, but this is like unbelievable. You've got hundreds of students all on the same platform and all around India, which is wonderful. It's just the best thing I think technology could give us as mentors or as educators. Unbeatable. So thank you for having me on. And yeah, there are a few things I would like to share with all of you today. And first of all, any questions to begin with? Should I just start?
Yes, Vidya, but before you start, let me tell you, you look gorgeous today. And
Thank you. And by the way, it's 3 decades, not 1 decade.
Oh, is it? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So I started my journey in 91.
Oh my God. This is a blessing then to have you and to, I mean, now like hear and see all your experiences. This is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's amazing to see the change in India and all over the world. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And I'm still around. Imagine another more 3 decades to go.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Vidya, how
Yeah,
did it start with you? I mean, 3 decades, that must be a whole new different era, right?
it
So how
is.
did it start? And I'm very sure that point of time, like makeup, like, I mean, the profession was not yet so recognized.
No.
So how did
So
it?
it was very, very tough. When I first came to India, which was 31 years ago, people didn't know what makeup artistry was. So I came in from Australia. I wasn't very good with the language, which was, I guess it was fine at that time because I was working mainly in fashion, but no one knew what makeup artistry was. They were like, oh, our beautician ho. I was like, never mind. But anyway, it was tough because what used to happen in Delhi in particular was makeup artists used to fly in from Mumbai. So I used to get really bugged. I was just like, why aren't the North Indian makeup artists being recognized? Why is it only Mumbai? And the problem was actually in Delhi, nothing was available. Brushes weren't available, crayon wasn't available, no professional stuff was available. A lot of people had to keep coming in from Mumbai. So I had to keep going to Mumbai in the beginning to buy my stuff and come back. But then I think after about a year or two of working in Delhi and proving myself as a makeup artist in the fashion industry, people started understanding. And then a lot of younger girls wanted to get into makeup. A lot of the air hostesses, a lot of the models, a lot of the talent in the fashion industry wanted to do makeup because they could see it was fun, it was challenging, it was lucrative. So that's when I started getting into professional training. And I found that there was just a huge vacuum in terms of knowledge. There was no knowledge. There was no knowledge platforms in India, especially in North India. So that is when I started training batches and of course, makeup houses started coming into Delhi, makeup suppliers, people started collaborating, a lot of foreign things started coming into Delhi in particular. So the scene started changing, I would say, about 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And ever since then, there's just been so much growth in the market. I think the only slump was the lockdown. But after that, it was just like unbelievable. It was like letting people out from a jailhouse. Everyone went crazy over makeup, buying makeup, new makeup came out. So now, in terms of makeup and in terms of knowledge, in terms of platforms, I mean, you guys know it. There's just a dime a dozen out there. There's millions of options, which is lovely.
Absolutely. Also, Vidya, do you remember your first big project?
I do. I did a little shoot for Kelvinator refrigerators. I still remember Rahul Dev was one of the models, and Aparna Kumar and two other models who are not very well known now. But I remember it was a 48-hour shoot, and there was no break. And I remember sleeping on the floor in Jane Studios and rats running everywhere. It was unbelievable. And that was the first week of me being in India. It was really tough, but that is, I think, one of my most difficult shoots. It really broke me into what a makeup artist is expected to do, or basically just to handle the situation. If you're pushed into a situation which is not in your control, deal with it. So that is basically what we did. And back in those days, there was no Zomato, Swiggy. I was starving. Food used to come at particular times. If you're sleeping at that time, too bad, you missed the food. And yeah, it was really tough. And as I said, there weren't many agencies at that time. But yeah, we managed. It was tough, but we managed.
Absolutely. So, Vidya, coming to that, you've already mentioned a few struggles, but we would also like to know, how did you, overcome it? Like Delhi, there's no good products, even shoots for such a long hours of time with no break. What other things that you had to face, and how did you overcome that?
Challenges?
Yes.
Um, honestly, to tell you the honest truth, there wasn't much competition at that time. I had a lot of new knowledge because I'd just come in from abroad, and I knew I knew techniques. And so India wasn't equipped with, of course, television. We didn't have Star TV was just coming into India. So people didn't really know much. So when I came into the market, I did have definitely a much better chance of succeeding in terms of fashion than any other makeup artist. There was no makeup artist, actually. There was only beauticians in salons. So for me, it was much easier. But yeah, getting products and getting equipment in was really a problem. I had to beg and borrow from people, especially people coming from Mumbai or abroad. Once I had my stuff together, then it was all about networking. And of course, networking means only word of mouth. There was nothing else. Then as time went on, then what we used to do was put, I guess, ads out in Femina, in Savvy, in Cosmopolitan, in the newspapers. And that's how we were actually recognized. But besides that, it was all word of mouth. There was nothing else. And of course, a lot of big production houses picking you up, agencies picking you up for makeup. That was a great thing. But apart from that, it was nothing like what you guys have. You guys have the world on your screen. We had nothing like that. We just had to do a lot of legwork, a lot of talking, a lot of events, parties, that kind of stuff, where we met humans. We don't meet humans in this era. I feel bad for children who grow up in this day and age. They don't meet people. They're just happy with their laptops, which is great for everyone at the moment if you want to market yourself. But we did a lot of legwork, a lot of driving.
Absolutely. Also, Vidya, how was your experience working with a lot of celebrities, a lot of renowned people? Like, from the outside, it looks so glamorous. It looks like, oh wow, I want to do the same thing. But what happens inside?
The thing is, if you have a good rapport with a superstar, it's easy. Now, a lot of the times the superstars used to come down from Mumbai. So that means they didn't really know people in Delhi. And as it is, the people in Mumbai were very skeptical on Delhi talent. They just feel that people who are in Maharashtra are well informed and we are not, which is not necessarily the case, but I do get it. It was tough with a few people. It was really tough. But, the thing is, you just have to prove that you know what you're doing. You've got to look confident. And honestly, you've got to know what you're doing. And you've got to have good products. And basically, you've just got to go with the flow. And you've got to be a very good people's person. That's number one. If you're a makeup artist, a hair artist, a nail artist, a mehndi person, you're dealing with human beings and you're with them for at least an hour, like in their face, literally. So you've got to know how to be a pleasant person. You've got to know how to give out those positive and pleasant vibes to keep the actor or model or client at ease. And you've got to be confident.
That's about right. Also, Vidya, in your whole journey, did you have a support system?
I did have a support system, as in, I had wonderful young women who trained under me and they supported me. That was the only support system I had because not many people knew much about makeup and fashion. It was all just very new to everyone. So I trained people ASAP because I needed people around. And they were with me for many, many decades. And some of them still are. So that's the most wonderful thing. Yeah, they do support me in terms of their knowledge and their skills.
Absolutely. That is really, really sweet to know. Also, within 3 decades, oh man, that is so cool. Like, how did you keep up? Like, I mean, makeup kept evolving, right? So how did you keep up with that?
Just doing courses, also attending a lot of seminars, which used to happen before lockdown. So everything's pretty much online now. And being in touch with what's happening abroad, traveling abroad. Even if you can't travel abroad, I feel if you're in touch with what's happening with other makeup artists' styles and what they like to use, make it your own as well. Whatever you like, get into it, make it your own, practice it, believe in it. You've got to believe. A lot of stuff on Instagram, honestly, is rubbish. I would say probably 85% of it is absolutely rubbish. It's just for show. It's just for marketing. But some people who are educators have a lot of good things to say and very wise things to say. So listen to them. All these quick makeup hacks, a lot of it doesn't work. But if you're listening to good educators and people who are very well known in the industry, they really have a lot of good information and a lot of good tips to give you. So that's how I kind of picked and choose what I liked and what fit into my lifestyle and what fit into my talent, actually.
Absolutely, that's about right, Vidya. Also, one question, like I know all our members today are, budding makeup artists, budding hairstylists, they're just going to start their journey, right? What advice would you like to give them to attract clients? Like, how can they gain a lot of clients? How can they promote themselves out there?
There's so much competition. I'm just so happy I got into the market when there was zero. There was only me. Like, wow. And I mean, not really, but I feel there's so many young, talented people out there, and people have fantastic makeup kits and they have fantastic knowledge. And I've seen all of that. And people come to me with their makeup kits, and I'm like so impressed. And then I'm like, okay, do a makeup. And they do it. It's just so Instagram makeup that doesn't work in real life. I'll just tell you something. I'm just going back. I did a video, an ad video for Literal soap, which didn't come out, but I still went to Mumbai, shot. I was the person they were showcasing, and Mickey Contractor was doing my makeup. He came in. He was just so super cool. He just came in with this little makeup box. I'm telling you, it was this big, with like probably 100 products in there, 50 to 100. and with the simplest of simple Crayon. I mean, back then it was Crayon. So simplest of Crayon products. Then one brown lip pencil. He didn't use a pencil, sorry. One brown lip color, 2 or 3 different shades. And of course, foundations and all your concealers were there. He just used a little bit of stuff, used his fingers. We had no beauty blenders back in those days. Just used that, and he created magic. I was just like, wow. He had such a modest makeup kit. And it's, of course, it is about the kid as well, but it's about the knowledge and the talent. I was just like, but I hadn't seen anything else. So as my experience grew, as I grew in the industry, I was looking at the younger generation coming up and seeing their fabulous kids. But they don't have it in them. Everything's fast. Everything is microwave. Everything is within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I was just like, you've spent lakhs on your kit. Where's your talent? So what I feel is you've really got to do legwork out there. You've really got to stand on your legs and just practice. No one wants to do that. Not even my kids. I tell them to go out to a shop. They won't do it. They're like, hey, just blink it. So everything is just like on the doorstep. And that really, I mean, if you really want to succeed, you've got to spend hours in makeup. You've got to spend hours with different kind of faces, different clientele. And as I heard one of the trainers saying, the educators saying, that you've got to do a lot of stuff maybe without money, because that's what it is. You've got to get out there and just show your talent. Otherwise, you'll never, ever be recognized. Everyone has a platform. Everyone's on Instagram, but you've actually got to go out there and show your talent. And when people see it for real with their eyes, with their naked eyes, I'm not saying on Instagram where it's all filtered, they will appreciate it. And honestly, it is also word of mouth. So it's half and half.
That's right. But Vidya, the sad truth in today's day and age is that social media is like your portfolio. It's like, before like even meeting you in person, probably somebody's just, typing my name on Instagram to check my page out, to check how I am, like how do I dress up. And that's like in the world that we live in today, right?
I know.
Yes, and that is the sad truth. But again, for business purposes, it does work, in a positive way. So what would be your few tips? I think you've already mentioned, the real stuff, right? Instead of hacks and, these fast makeup tips. So what should be your advice? How do you grow on Instagram, like genuinely grow?
Well, I'll tell you, like, for me, what I get attracted to is people who have real talent. And I can tell from just looking at it from a second. So it's got to do with people, how they blend the makeup. It's the blending techniques, and it's also the color combinations. So you've got to know what colors go with what kind of skins, what goes with what kind of lighting. And that, of course, takes time. And you've got to really know how to photograph your clients. There's a lot of talent out there, and the way they photograph their clients is very tacky and not tasteful at all. So understand photography. You've got to understand how to place your client. Everything visually has to look beautiful on your page. Okay, besides the makeup, even if the makeup is simple, it's still beautiful. But make sure there's no clutter in the back. Make sure the client has good lighting. Make sure she's in the center of the frame. All these things make a difference in the end. It attracts people to look at your page. If you have a messy background, it depends on how messy it is and what kind of mess it is. If it's a makeup mess, it's probably fine. If it's something else, you've really got to have a sharp eye for everything and how you place your client. So basically, the page has to look very beautiful. Even if your client is not a beauty, but your makeup has to be well blended. The choices of color, as I said, is very important. And the way you photograph, this era has made us into photographers. And how to photograph, how to place your client. So that is equally as important as your skills. So make sure your page is very neat and very consistent. and you have a variety of clients and different types of models, not just one type of a model. Your hair has to be different, your makeup has to be different, but in the same page, you've got to also have your own signature makeup. Like a lot of people think or say that I do very natural makeup. I can do heavy makeup as well. It just depends on the kind of clientele. But have a signature, whatever you love in makeup, or whatever you love doing in hair, or whatever you love doing in nails, have that particular signature coming through in your work. And then people say, and people will be able to relate to you. So that's very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for simplifying that for us. I think all of us were confused on that front. Also, Vidya, how does one find their niche? Like, how do I know if I would be a great bridal makeup artist? How do I know if I would work amazingly well in the industry or, in backstage events? Like, how do I find my niche?
You have to go out there and just see what you like. You've got to get out there, try getting into fashion, try getting into editorial, try getting into a bridal makeup. I think everyone, that's the easiest thing to get into. Party makeups, try getting into training. Training is also huge. There's so many platforms in training. It doesn't have to be a salon. There's so many people who want personal grooming and soft skills and image management. So you can get into many, many things. So you've really got to go out. If you don't have the means of going out to these places, please try hooking up with makeup artists or any talent who is in these places, because you've really got to see how it works. Fashion looks beautiful. The models are beautiful. Everything looks glamorous, but it's tough. You're backstage for hours and hours and hours. It's not like you're going to a hotel, doing a bride and walking out. It's not like that at all. You go there in the morning and you basically end up spending the whole 8 to 10 hours, if not more, with the model or with a set of models. And it's tough. It's tough just sitting backstage. It's not glamorous. They look glamorous when they get out on the ramp or when they're in a studio setting. But for us as makeup artists, we get to do all the hard work. We do all the charu pocha, basically, of the face.
Absolutely. Also, Vidya, could you tell us more about your signature style or the way that achieve a certain kind of makeup look?
For me, whenever I have a face in front of me, the first thing I see is proportion. You've got to see proportion. That's the most important thing. It's also like the clothes which we wear, the body which we have. See your proportion first. See what is getting out or what is too small or what is too big. You've got to see how the face fits in an oval first. And whatever you want to take away, those areas are going to be contoured. So that is the first thing. The second thing, I look at skin. I look at texture. What is disturbing me in the face? Is it the dark circles? Is it the pimples on the chin? Is it pigmentation on the forehead? So those things have to be eliminated one by one. Once they're eliminated, that means I've dealt with them. That means color correction, foundation, concealer, powder. Once I've dealt with that, then I have a clean canvas. Once I have a clean canvas, if I feel the features are super and pretty, then I do very minimal makeup because you don't need to do much. Or when I feel that there's a problem area in the face, maybe I'm just going to work on the eyes. I just work on the eyes and keep the rest of the face relatively clean. So I like to work with cleaner skin. So for me, it's all about getting the right shape, getting the right contour and highlighting, a little pop of color on the cheeks maybe, and keeping it simple, keeping the eyes much lighter. So nowadays, everyone's into lashes and liner. So that's what I like to stick to. Just keep it clean. Make sure that you outline and emphasize the features. Don't overcrowd it, unless it's required. But I don't like to overcrowd the face at all.
Yes, absolutely. Also, Vidya, according to you, what is the aura that a makeup artist, hairstylist should carry? With what attitude, should they go when they're doing a client, when they're doing a celebrity? Anything you can tell us about that?
As I said, whenever you're going to a select client is different, but if you're going to do something on a celebrity, whether it's your hair, your makeup, your mehndi, your nails, whatever it is, you've got to study up on the celebrity. Okay? And you can make very small talk to them depending on their mood. Always be very accommodating. Even if they're late, which a lot of times they are, you've got to keep your cool. But also make sure it's your responsibility that your lighting and your workstation is up to mark. Because if it's not, it's going to hamper your makeup or your hair or your nails. And all that is going to go on you. It's going to be your responsibility in there. No one's going to say, oh, there was no lighting. They don't give a damn. So you've got to make sure that your lighting, your area is absolutely to your perfection. And as I said, be aware of who you're working with. And you can make small talk. Everyone likes to have an artist or a stylist talk about their, I would say, achievements in life. So this is also networking. So it's really important to be aware of your client. So, and be amicable always.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you so much, Vidya. I think it was really, this was a huge honor sharing this platform with you. So thank you so much. Members, how did you like that? Will you all be taking into consideration whatever Vidya had to say to all of you? Let me know in the chat box. Awesome. Vidya, requesting you to stay back because we have an exciting announcement after this as well.
Hey, it was a pleasure, guys. Best of luck. And practice. And don't ever give up the knowledge. Never.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Awesome. I am so happy all of you enjoyed that segment. Okay, now it is the most awaited time to announce something really special. Okay, so I know all of you have been designing your portfolios, and we have selected one winner for each batch, and we would be giving them 1,000 rupees worth voucher. Okay, so let me take the opportunity and announce our winners. But before that, is there any excitement in the room? Yes, no?